Reading from Job chapter 3. After this, Job opened his mouth and cursed his day. And Job spake and said, Let the day perish wherein I was born, and the night in which it said, There is a man child conceived. So Job, he was devastated because of the way that Satan was allowed to be let loose upon him. And he's a very blessed man, and he went from blessed to just taken to nothing. And it was a test. It was a test from the Lord because the Lord had someone faithful on the earth, and Satan was challenging God to find someone righteous. And, someone that would maintain their integrity, even if they had nothing. Because, the contention was that if Job lost everything, that, he wouldn't remain faithful, that he was a kind of a fair weather friend was the accusation. So here he is, he's been tested. He said, so full of grief, that let the day perish wherein I was born, in the night in which it was said, There is a man child conceived. Let that day be darkness, let not God regard it from above, neither let the light shine upon it. Makes me think of kind of sad songs where you're kind of crying out in your pain or your despair, and almost as if you just wish you'd never been in that situation or been at all, existed at all to that person, because you felt so loved, and then it didn't continue, and then I think you probably heard songs like that on the radio, and I certainly have. I feel so so much depths of sadness, but this happened to Job, and he went from favored to cursed, to rejected, to harmed, to where the devil got to just take him out, basically, just wipe him out. And the only thing left was Job. And everything that wasn't Job himself and Job in his own heart was taken from him. And that's devastating. So he just, so forlorn, forgotten, rejected. So that's why he's crying out with so many descriptive words of wishing that he could just blot out his existence. He said, Let the darkness and the shadows stain it. Let a cloud dwell upon it. Let the blackness of the day terrify it. As for the night, let darkness seize upon it. Let it not be joined unto the days of the year. Let it not come into the number of the months. Lo, let that night be solitary. Let no joyful voice come therein. He's speaking about the night where he was conceived. Let them curse it, that he was even coming into existence at all. That night that he was conceived. Let them curse it that day who are ready to raise up their mourning. Let the stars of the twilight thereof be black. Let it look for light, but have none. Neither let it see the dawning of the day, because it shut not the doors of my mother's womb, nor hid sorrow from mine eyes. So, in order for him to not go through this depth of pain, he would have never had to exist at all. And the miracle that was his birth, the miracle that was in his mother's womb, it would have ceased. It would have had to cease in order to protect him from the pain that he was feeling. And that was genuinely his desire. Not to curse God or rise up against God, not to harm God, but just not to be at all. Not to be at all. He says, let them curse the day who are ready to raise up their mourning. Did I get through 7? Lo, let that night be solitary, let no joyful voice come therein. Let them curse the day who are ready to raise up the morning. Let the stars of the twilight thereof be dark. Let it look for light, but have none. Let it see the dawning of the day, because it shut not up the doors of my mother's womb, nor hid sorrow from mine eyes. Why died I not from the womb? Why did not I give up the ghost when I came out of the belly? Why even let me be born? Why didn't I just die when I was born? You put me through all this, and let Satan have his way, and let him, harm me that much. He says, why did the knees prevent me, and why the breast that I should suck? Why was he even able to be rocked on his mom's knees? Or why was he able to even nurse, to be given nourishment for all that time, to come to this? His heart was absolutely broken. Absolutely broken. For now, should I have lain still and been quiet, I should have slept. Then I had been at rest with kings and counselors of the earth, which build desolate places for themselves, or with princes that had gold, who filled their houses with silver. Or as in hidden untimely birth I had not been, as infants which never saw light. Just his desire just to sleep at that time. This is the lowest of the low. The lowest of points that he can endure, because he's imagining those who had lived a decent life and the afterlife, and or lived a beautiful, blessed life. And he was thinking, if I could have just slept from the time of my birth, then I could have been like those who hadn't experienced the kind of sorrow that he's enduring right now. And he said, there the wicked cease from troubling, and there the weary be at rest. So those wicked folks around him, they aren't going to bother you up there. And he is speaking of heaven, paradise. He knows you're not going to be bothered there. And there the weary be at rest. He wouldn't be tired there. He wouldn't be, fraud or devastated. There the prisoners rest together. They hear not the voice of the oppressor. There's no oppression there. The small and great are there, and the servant is free from his master. Wherefore is light given to him that is in misery and life, unto the bitter and soul. So the wicked cease from troubling. You can't be troubled in heaven. The weary be at rest. Those who are tired, just completely exhausted, they're resting. They're the prisoners rest together. Those who've been imprisoned, they're resting. They hear not the voice of the oppressor. Those who would be oppressing them, commanding them, harming them even, they're in charge of them. They're not there. They're not in prison anymore. They're resting. The small and the great are there. Small and the great are there. And the servant is free from his master. And I think because he was such a wealthy and blessed man, and his turn of events has taken him to such a depth of pain that it may feel even like it is a type of slavery to him. Now he's a servant to his pain and his loss. Because where does he go? Where does he go now? Wherefore is light given to him, that is his misery, and life unto the bitter in soul. Wherefore is light given to him that is in misery. So those who are in misery, then they're given light and life unto the bitter in soul. And so people who need that life because their souls have grown bitter, they don't have that in heaven. He wouldn't be experiencing all this, in other words. Which rejoice exceedingly and are glad when they can find the grave. Whose death was a welcome experience to relieve him of the pain that he was now suffering, the rejection and the hand of Satan upon him, that the Lord allowed in his great purpose. Why is light given to a man whose way is hid, and whom God hath hedged in? It's just like, why was I protected? Why is that it was so and now it isn't? Why is it that it was so and then it ceased to be? The sadness. He just starts to question, why is light given to a man whose way is hid, and whom God hath hedged in? Why was the protection there? For my sighing cometh before I eat, my roarings poured out like the waters. So even before he starts his meal, it's like it's not going to be something to cheer him up. It's not going to be something that is an encouragement to his body or to his soul because of the heaviness. He says, for my sighing cometh before I eat, and my roarings are poured out like the waters. His roarings are poured out like the waters. Tears. Yeah. And the sounds that he's making. For the thing which I greatly feared is come upon me, and that which I was afraid of is come unto me. I was not in safety, neither had I rest, neither was I quiet, yet trouble came. I was not in safety, neither had I rest, neither was I quiet, yet trouble came. Completely unprepared and blindsided by this trouble, by this pain that's come upon him, by this darkness that is now upon him. So that's Job chapter 3, and I would encourage you to read the rest. Read chapters 1 and 2 to see what he lost, and read the rest of the book to find out what the end result is. But I guess this might describe the greatest grief maybe that man could express, or mankind could express. And I think that the importance of God relating to us and penning our humanity with such a depth of grief is actually encouraging in the trouble and in the trial. And so I would encourage you to surround it by reading the chapters preceding Job chapter 3 and then the chapters that follow, because this is a test. And if you're going through a test, then don't doubt that the Lord is with you. He only picked Job for this depth of loss because he knew he could trust him. This was God's love. And it's God's proving himself to his enemy that even if he took everything away, that he had someone righteous, that he had someone with integrity, that he had someone that would continue to love him. Okay, amen.